He was a here, play, 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 play. Here, 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 here. You know, we were, we're Christians for one thing. And it was like, I would tell people, you need to not do this. you know, you need to not, no, this is my entertainment. I love it. The more I win, the more I'll put in the machines. That's all they want.
You guys were paying gift cards, is that?
We were given, we were given gift cards. Then they could take them to the mall and get the gift cards. But we also got away from that and we started our own gift cards. And well, they could get. Let me finish, and then I'll get there. I think I'll get there where you're going. So we had our own little store, and we were getting people would come in with their winnings, and I'm telling you, there'd be 30, 40 people standing in line to go into our office, to our little girl that was running the office, and I want that on the shelf, but a lot of people didn't want what we had on the shelf, and they'd say, I'd like to get a box of Cheerios, let's say. And so we had hired our own attendants to go we'd get a list, and then they'd go get to the store and get these items these people wanted. And then they'd come in and exchange these little cards that we gave them, $5 cards, and they'd get their gift. Or the person would come back in and say, I decided not to get that. This happened a lot. And I'll just take this little card I got, and will you put money in my machine and I'll play some more?
See, then that was giving cash. You couldn't do that.
Well, you
couldn't give people money to play the machine.
You had to put it in yourself.
So we were following all these rules. You can't. I can't do that, because that's any cash.
You put the credits on the machine is what you'd do.
Okay.
So anyway, at one point I went, can we shortcut this of us going out and getting what they want? Can we shortcut this somehow? And I was like, why don't we somehow hire these people that win to go get their own stuff and then come back and we'll, like we were doing with our employees, they would go buy the stuff with their money, and then they'd bring the receipt back, and we'd give our employees the money they bought all this stuff with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we'd give them the money. So I said, why don't we just hire the players
as an independent contractor?
Well, that's what it ended up being. Hire the players to go get their stuff, and then we'll reimburse them like we do our employees. And so we brought that up to a friend of ours who was very smart. And he said, what you need to do is an independent contractors agreement and hire these people through an independent contractors agreement. That way they're independent and they take care of their own taxes. They do whatever, And so we're like, that's a good idea. Well, let's go to our lawyers. So our lawyers draw up this contract with the help of our friend, who was actually Greg Abbott, the Texas guy.
Yeah.
He was attorney general.
He was attorney general then. And he said, they made this contract that we had with now Greg Abbott didn't know that we were using that contract for that, but our buddy helped him make this contract. So
because they were in the payphone business and they had the independent contractor agreement for the payphone people who would go out and find locations. So that's where all that came from.
So we got our lawyer to drop this contract and approve it. And I said, we've been in this. There's so much. They're busting game rooms that are paying cash. And I don't want any trouble. I put, at that point, 20 years into all this, more than that. But, and I don't want anything to happen here. And I told Mike, I said, I'm not going to go any further in this if we can't get approval from the sources. And I said, so we told our lawyer, get a hold of this DA, get a hold of the sheriff, get a hold of whoever, that makes these decisions, and we can get approval on this contract. So we started doing that. And we got a meeting with the
Vandergriff.
the DA, and we got a meeting with Vandergriff, and we tried to get a meeting with
who was a senator at one point.
Yeah, and we tried to get a hold of the sheriff that was busting people out in Rendon, and so we tried to get a hold of him, but he never would return our calls. And so when we went to see the county commissioner, and we recorded these phone calls, I mean, not phone calls, but these meetings with these officials. And so when we were sitting down with Vandergriff, he was like, we were asking for it in writing with our lawyer, and we were asking for in writing an approval of what we were doing. And they would all, every one of the people that we met with would say, looks good to me, They know more than we did because they were Billy Bob's and all that were running, on worse than we ever thought about. We were trying to comply. And so so we sat down with Vandergriff and had the tape recorder on the table, and he goes, man, this looks good, guys. He says, I love this kind of stuff. He said, I'm all for it. He says, I love it. Yeah, it looks fine to me. And then our lawyer says, well, we're trying to get a hold of D. Anderson, but he won't sit down with us, or hasn't sat down with us. And he goes, well, I can't control that. He said, but I'm not going to put anything in writing. He says, but you do need to go to the sheriff. I mean, that's going to be the one who enforces all this stuff, Now, keep in mind, we've met with the DA and we met with Vandergriff and the county commissioner. So we leave that meeting and we go downstairs. This is in Okay, what we have here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the transcript of audio cassette, and this is the original transcription from Merritt Court Reporter. Can you see that?
Yep.
Is that good?
Yep.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read. This is what I'm going to read right here. We're just sitting down with Judge Vandergriff. We've said our pleasantries and everything, and this is a tape-recorded conversation with Judge Vandergriff, with County Commissioner Vandergriff, with Senator Vandergriff at one point, okay? So we're sitting down. We got our attorney, Don McDaniels, with us, and he starts out, yeah, I would like to speak with D. Anderson if I could, but haven't been able to speak to him. And the assistant district attorney is a little frustrated with me. We were involved with a case where we have a conflict, and he's a little frustrated with. So we've got this conflict, but I want to talk, but they do want to get with me, they say. And then Steve interrupts. He says, should that matter though, Don? If he's frustrated with you? In an unidentified voice, that matter goes on. It doesn't matter what Mike was trying to do was get with somebody. Should that matter that he's upset at you? Doesn't he have rights? I'm Mike's brother, but doesn't he have his rights to have his voice heard because he's trying to do it right? Don and Mike, they've been trying really hard to get with D. Anderson. I've witnessed the whole thing. Don McDaniels. We've written 2 sets of letters to the DA. We've written several letters to the sheriff's department, and I did have a telephone conference I did have a telephone conference about this. But their interpretation is a little different. But we need to sit down and go over that then. But they referred us to the taking directions from the district attorney, Mike Long. It seems to me that I'm living in a constant fear factor that at any moment that all my large investment that I've got is going to be taken from me by D. Anderson. I hear about other game rooms, and I agree with how D. Anderson is running things. I admire the man. Some game rooms are blatantly saying, I pay cash and I don't care blankety blank whatever. And I don't agree with that kind of, rhetoric. But I don't think it's, as for me, I'm trying to get with Mr. Anderson, and I'm trying to get with the district attorney, and I'm trying to explain how we're doing things. But it seems to me they don't want to meet. Now, I don't know how right that is for them just to, ignore if that's what they're doing, Don McDaniels. And technically, the district attorney or the sheriff does not have to give compliance of the law. Everyone was sort of left with their own responsibility to comply with the law. Legal advice about compliance or the rule of law, but this is a gray area. We're hoping to get an opinion. Perhaps we could write the Attorney General's office, We're after Mike. Well, I thought about that yesterday, Don. Maybe he'll issue a letter of opinion of some kind. It might help Mike. It's a dilemma. We're trying to, run like a Dave and Buster's, and that's all we're doing. We have a lot of really nice people that come in there and they enjoy what they're doing. It's not the so-called drug infested. I know some of the game rooms because I've been around a few of them. All day long you would see needles in the parking lot, It was bad. That was bad, a little place out there. We got out of there. But the Pot of Gold over on 7204 Mansfield Highway, it's a great little family type. I mean, there's a lot of families that go in there. Adults, of course, but they really enjoy the Pot of Gold. They enjoy the games. They enjoy how things are done. We got music going all the time. They can get Coca-Colas and snacks and no alcohol beverages. Our future plans are to, put a little sitting area restaurant type, court little deal, and then stand with floor games and just make it a real nice place for everyone to come. And we're trying to really be above board and somewhat of an example for other game rooms, and that's really what the goal is. That's the goal we have. My goal when I first started that place was to hire enough, hire all of Kennedale to work there so that their income could rise and enjoy more. We pay very high wages, $10 an hour for our employees. We're very fair about that, how we do it. It's always important to enjoy your work, Don McDaniels. It's more of a family, recreational center. It's not a den of iniquity. Well, no, it's not. If we do have someone that comes in that's a little belligerent or what, it makes more customers nervous. And I'll escort them out or tell them straighten up and come back then, We've never called the police to come out. We've never had an incident. And I think that says something for us right there. Judge Vandergriff, you're operating at several locations? Mike, no, we have just one location, and that's my concentration now. And I would like for you to come out, if you would like, bring your wife. I'm very proud of it and very proud of the place. And it's upscale, and we're trying to do some remodeling. And we're always getting people's opinion, what they would like to see. What games would you like to see have, and the sort of thing. So we're always trying to upgrade it, Vandergriff. Well, I wish I could tell you I have more authority, but I don't. And I love the game rooms. I love that kind of stuff. I have no problem with that. It sounds like you're doing right. Thank you very much, Don. We're going to try the Attorney General's office and explain our dilemma. And we want to operate it, Don. We're going to try the Attorney General's office and explain our dilemma. And we want to operate it. I mean, if it's not lawful, if Mike unable to comply, they'll just close it down. Mike, I want to. I mean, I'm not, it would hurt me. It would hurt my heart if I had to, and I would think that it would mean a little unjust, but that's my opinion, of course. I'm personally involved. Vandergriff, you do have some in other cities? No. Again, we've been vendors. Steve and I are in different businesses together. We've got air and water machines, pay telephones, ATMs, crane and water, all that stuff. Then this, to me, is just another vending business since 1986 around here. So we're really we're in Tarrant County and in Dallas County with our payphones and ATMs and everything. Steve, this has only been for the last year with the game room. And the way we got into it was we started vending some other games. And people said, you ought to get into the 8-liner business. That's just another part of vending to convenience stores. So we started checking it out. We put our games in a couple of game rooms, and they were just ripping. They were just bad people, and they were running these games. They were taking our machines. They would steal the money out of them. They would try to set our games to where it would rip the people off. We just pulled out and said, if we're going to be in this, we're going to do it ourselves and do it right and be honest. That's why our game room has been so busy, because people go there saying, that's what everybody says. They go to our place and they play and play and play, you know, and they play all day. Some people put $5 in and they play all day. So they get a fair shake, and we're Christians, and it was, to be honest with you, when it was first brought up to us, it was like, no, I don't want to go into that area, you know, at all. I don't know if I go to Vegas and I'll go where we were raised that way. We played poker with our grandfather, you know. It was fun. It was anything. But our grandfather would laugh, but it was just a great time, you know, that we had with our grandfather. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with gambling. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Unless someone abuses anything, like drinking. Drink's not bad. You know, that's what my beliefs are. But abuse of anything, that's bad. Like, yeah. Vandergriff. Yeah, well, question. Well, that's all we're trying to do. We're just looking for business people and trying to do what's right. Vandergriff. Okay, Don. All right, I'm going to write the DA and the DA Curry as well, and probably a separate letter to the Attorney General's office as well. Mike. Well, I think that would be a great idea, because I don't know if Don, a copy to the DA and copy to the Sheriff's Department. That's all we're trying to do, Steve. More of our voices heard. I think they will have to do it. I mean, we're going everywhere and trying to do it. They're going to have to listen, Don. You're not hiding, obviously, Steve. I was never hiding. I believe that God is guiding us. I really do believe it. Anytime that a door is shut, there's always another door open. And if this door is shut, so be it. But like Don mentioning, the Attorney General, well, it came to my head also yesterday. And you know, he is available, of course. But I think that God puts things in your head to go with it. And this contract was God-inspired. The independent contractors agreement was God-inspired. It didn't go have Don write this thing up. Steve and I came up with the idea, and then we've had to, Steve. It was out of a necessity, really, Mike. Then we passed it by Don, and they have other people look at it as also not to skirt the law, but to be legal with the law states, with what the law states, Don. Well, I think you're trying to comply with the spirit of the law for sure. The letter of the law, inaudible. The letter of the law and the spirit of the law sometimes are something a bit different. Vandergriff. Yes, really. Thank you for your time, inaudible. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time. And if you would like, you and your wife, come on out and you would, Vandergriff. Where is your place? It's 7204 Mansfield Highway. It's right by Dawson Tires. Okay, thanks. Thanks for your time. And now we walk out the office and we head downstairs. And that's where we see D. Anderson. And we go talk to him.
I think a lot of remembering all of that, we were, it was me on the far right, you were in the middle, and Don McDaniels was sitting to your left. And he was sitting at his desk in this great big area. Yeah. It was huge. And it was like, that was about the only thing in there was his desk.
Yeah, I think it was all set up.
And the rest of the room was empty. So thinking about it now, when he was asking about the, you have more than one game room, and then a lot of it was inaudible. And then when I went to, they wanted to interview me at Star Telegram.
When he was talking, it was inaudible.
Yeah,
but he was talking very low.
When we went to Star Telegram, they asked me if I would take an interview, and I told them, if you will put down what I say, yeah, I'll interview you. I'll let you interview me.
You should have
And then she said, and then when the article came out, it wasn't even close to what I said.
What they do is they say, but I'm going to check the final transcript.
Well, and I think
And I have to approve the final.
I think that Vandergriff, and this is just my opinion, that Vandergriff was in cahoots with
Well, D. Anderson was downstairs.
with Anderson and coming to get our stuff, because found out here just a little bit ago that Vandergriff was part owner or owner of Star Telegram. Anyway, that being said, that's enough of that.
I want to say something first. The comptroller had us buy comptroller licensings, and they were little stickers that you put on every one of the machines.
You don't need to. I'm going to put them on the side here. Start with this number.
Did you ever go to a drive-in movie theater?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you remember when the movie was over and everybody would line up behind each other in the cars and go out the little exit, and it was just takes a long time to get out there. Well, we had a big picture window in our above the
Office facility.
yeah, we had apartments and whatnot, and we would just sit up there and watch these cars come into our place. Like it looked